I'm here to share with you some amazing neuroscience as to why and how you can create the reality that you're looking for. It's possible, it's scientifically proven, and it's not as hard as you think. If you're feeling stuck with self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, or just wanting a new reality for yourself, even if it's a small one, you have it within your power to make that happen. So let's jump straight in and see how we begin and learn why. It all starts with the power of thought. Take a look at this beautiful picture here. We all dream of something greater and better for our lives, don't we? And do you think and do you believe that there's a way that what we think can affect who we are and what we have? You're not wrong. It's very true. You can. But did you wake up this morning and think to yourself consciously that you're going to create the future that you want today? Do you know why we get blocked sometimes and we don't? It's because you don't believe that that's true or that's possible for you. So why don't you believe it? What have you done to train yourself to believe that you're not worth what you maybe dream of? And if you knew in your gut that it was absolutely possible for you to speak into existence a new reality for yourself, and that your vision was actually true and could come to life for you, why would you spend another day not making that happen? Your brain is a record of your environment, and your environment is influenced by the thoughts that you have. What does that mean? We're going to talk that through, and for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to give you the science to understand how your experiences shape your existence, and we can change that existence through the experiences that we allow ourselves to have. And it starts further back than that. Let's take it to a really practical place here, okay? So we're just getting up in the morning. We've woken up on the same side of the bed with the same person we've been with for a while, or maybe ourselves. Same alarm goes off, same smells in the morning, nice cup of coffee from your favorite cup, maybe the same breakfast you often have, and then you put on the same clothes for the same audience and people and scenario that you're going to face. Then you make the same journey into work, which then starts to influence your thinking. So that journey in starts to tell us how we're feeling about that day. And those feelings are worded thoughts. Okay, so this is my life. Here I am today. Here's another rainy day. Here's another day that I have to get up early. I guess that's who I am. That's my lot in life. That's what I've got. And most of the time we accept it and we make the best of it. But why should we settle for less than the best in our life? Then what happens from those feelings is we start to have permanent inner talk. Okay? This is my existence. This is my lot in life. This is what I deserve. Maybe this is all I can manage, or it's what I have to deal with, so I may as well just get on with it. Now, what happens is when you tell yourself those things, it starts to cement in your brain. Let me start down here with number one. When we repeat the same thoughts, which evoke the same behaviors and actions, which then creates a cycle to reinforce existing beliefs and patterns about ourselves. Is that making sense? Number two, then, we move into wanting something different. We want a new place to be, and we secretly hope and expect that by carrying on our journey, but having some ambition, that's going to happen for us. But what's the definition of insanity? This illusion of change is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting and hoping for a different result. Well, that's never going to happen if we're stuck back at number one. If we're telling ourselves that's who we are, and that's the card we've been, that's what we're going to get. Now, when I was a little girl, I was born into horror, abuse, suffering, pain, emotional, mental, physical, sexual abuse from the time I was a very young child of the age of 3 all the way until I was 20 years old. Now, this was my existence. That's what I knew. But I look at myself now not as a survivor, because I didn't just cope and coast with surviving. I am a thriver. And why? Because I had to change the rhetoric in my head. I had to change the language in my brain. I am worth X. I can achieve X. I don't deserve pain. I did not deserve what happened to me. In fact, for many years, I actually deleted it, and I verbally created in my head a new existence for myself and a new past. It wasn't 100% different from what I had. It just deleted all of the horror. And that's what I maintained. And it's, in a way, it rewired my brain to believe that my life was positive. So by placing positivity on my brain, I was able to overcome and to create a new existence for myself. Now, another story for another day, I've had to go back and look at some of that horror and bring it back into existence in order to deal with some lingering trauma. But we'll cover that in another day, and I'll show you how I'm getting over that. But this illusion of change, of just pretending or hoping or wishing that you're going to have the better life, is insanity. And this is where we have to make a conscious change. It's essential. So look at how we do that. So to start off with, our brain is a record of our environment. It keeps track of, it's a file of facts of all of our experiences, a bit of an artifact of your life. Yeah? And that is what has shaped you. That's made you the person that you are. Or I'm going to raise a question. Does your environment control your thinking? Or does your thinking control your environment? Interesting. Now let's just pause and consider what environment means in this context. All external influences that are coming into your world, such as the horror that was put upon me, that was an external influence into my life. Now, it became my reality because it was very physically influential in my life. It was happening to me. But let's take another example. Things we understand, things we do, the work we choose, all of that provides additional influences into our day-to-day. And it becomes an existence of what we know, and we live in it. And it's what we've created for our life, and we do it day in and day out. Yeah, and there's a language attached to it. And remember, language is a file of facts of pictures, feelings, emotions, beliefs, experiences, all put together in a word. And that word sits in our brain, even if there's no letters attached to that word. Okay, so they can be impressions, emotions, and feelings. And they are real because they shape the neurological attachments of what is us, what is Tirza. All of those experiences make me. And I can talk about them, and I can express them, and I can react to them when they come at me because I understand them, because I've lived them. But if I continue to talk about them, they become my lived existence inside my internal world. Now, the thoughts that we think and the emotions we feel and beliefs we hold on to make us inside. It becomes our internal existence. And this internal world influences then our actions and choices and what we choose to do and the limitations we put on ourselves or the possibilities we allow ourselves to explore. If you tell yourself that you're the new Napoleon, pretty soon you will be, because your brain believes what you tell it in those words. If I had told myself I'm nothing more than a person who is set on this earth to be someone else's servant, to be someone else's punching bag, and someone else's girl to take advantage of, then that's what I would have maintained being all of my life. But no, I said, this is not my path. These are not my stars, and I am going to change them. So I had to make the effort to think beyond my environment. You have to do that if you want a different reality for yourself. Now, how does that look? To truly change our world and what we're living in, we have to think greater than what we know. Now, that's almost impossible, we might think, because how can we think about something if we don't know it? How can we envisage something that we don't know it? Well, Martin Luther King did, Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela did. The existence of equality and the existence of human rights wasn't really in their sightline. It wasn't happening in their world at the time. But in their mind, they envisaged that there could be a world like that. So they spoke it into existence. I was never supposed to be director of departments for education and train head teachers and professors all across the UK. That wasn't supposed to be in my cards when I was born. But I was like the bumblebee. Have you ever heard of the theory of the bumblebee? According to aerodynamics, the bumblebee shouldn't fly. Its body is too big for its wings. But the bumblebee doesn't know this, so it just keeps on flying around. That was me. I was the bumblebee. And it's called mind over matter. Okay, now your mind, and we're going to talk about it momentarily, but your mind consists of your brain and what's inside of your brain, right? The mind is the brain in action. So, can you believe a future that's not alive in your senses yet? Well, because your senses is your brain, but your mind is your imagination and the possibilities of what you can imagine and what you can dream and what you can have. So, do we have the ability to look beyond our environment and to change what we imagine for ourselves and then make that a reality? To envisage different possibilities and create a future that is not in our existence yet? Neuroscience says it's possible, and I proved that it's possible. I was not an abusive mother to my children. I did not give them a sad life. I did not live every day thinking that all I deserved was to have abuse and pain. And many people who grow up in my situation do. And I didn't, because I was committed to say, no, I'm going to take this forward. And this goes through all of your life, whether you want to change something small, something big, you want to lose that weight that you're looking to lose, you want to get out of a toxic relationship, you want to regain your power when it comes to the workplace, or feel more empowered to take that next step in your career, but you've got limiting beliefs holding you back. It starts with a vision, and it starts with a dream, and then we turn it into internal language and internal talk. So, focusing over to the neuroscience, scientists are telling us that our brains are consistently adapting and changing. The thoughts that we think and the emotions we feel and the actions we take all have potential to rewire our neural pathways. We've all heard of brain plasticity, right? Neuroplasticity, brain plasticity. It's possible and it's in your reach. And your brain has the ability to change and adapt throughout not only your whole life, but through different stages and phases. But it's in your power to make that happen. If you continue on a loop of doing the same thing over and over again, that's because you're not giving yourself the possibility to envisage, to create, to step into, and to be something new. That's where we move into conscious change, focusing on new thoughts, new beliefs, and new actions. We stimulate the growth of our neural pathways to create new patterns. And when we create the new patterns, we spark new learning. Now let's see what that new learning then does for us. What it does is it influences our personality. When I know something, then I act differently, don't I? So let's start with emotional knowledge. If I know that I'm strong, if I know that I'm beautiful, if I know that I'm powerful, if I know that I'm safe and not in a place where anyone can hurt me, then I become more confident on the outside. I become a person that is happy to be around other people and to take on a next challenge and to not be fearful of maybe some failure or some bumps in the road. And so that now becomes my new reality, not an afraid, shy, fearful, unknowledgeable Tirza, but rather the opposite. And then that influences how I think about myself. Oh, look, I can do it. And every success gives me better thoughts about myself. And then it reflects on how I act, and then ultimately back full circle how I feel. And I've created a new and present reality for myself, a new life. And I'm now in a position where I'm going through another metamorphosis and creating an even greater life for myself because I'm not happy with the place I'm in now. So I want to take it to the next level. So I'm going through the process again, and I'm really glad you're here to join me doing it. So I'm focusing on the thoughts that I'm thinking, the behaviors and habits that are then coming after, yeah? And then the emotions that I've sort of starting to memorize in my own head again, about the new me and the new reality that I'm creating for myself. So here's where I challenge you. If you're interested to join me on the journey, these are 3 things to focus on to change your reality. Okay, firstly, your thoughts. Identify the thoughts that you're having that are limiting you and keeping you in a rut. Replace them with positive and empowering beliefs. Okay, secondly, I want you to think about your behaviors. What are you doing every day that's keeping you in that rut? In the rut of, this is my norm, this is my existence. And I want you to change at least 1 or 2 habits that align with your new desired reality. I want to be X. I want to be out of said relationship. I want to break the trauma bond in my life. I want to move away from days where I feel restrained or held in a box. So what are you going to do to change that behavior? And thirdly, I then want you to think about your emotions. Cultivate positive emotions such as gratitude and joy, and strive for peace. Stand up for yourself for peace in your life, because when you're peaceful and you feel safe and you feel that you can make mistakes or try something new or be in a safe position to expand, that's where you're going to really have the guts that you need to go forward. Let go of emotions that are holding you back, those limiting beliefs. Okay, I can't wait to see you in the next intro video. Take what I've said at the moment, think about it, and come back to the next video and we're going to go even deeper. If this resonated with you at all and you feel empowered by what you've heard, don't stop today and just watch. Take action, because the more you take action, the more it will embed. You have the power to change and rewire your mind. Do it today. And let's start with just 1 comment. Drop a comment below, a little commitment of what you're going to do to go on this journey of rewiring your unconscious mind. Hit the subscribe button and join us in the next series where we talk about how we take real steps and real action to teach our brain to think differently. I know you'll benefit from the next one, so stay on the journey with us.